Breaking 911 on X says Apple launches digital ID in the US, letting users add IDs like a passport to Apple Wallet and use them at TSA checkpoints and 250 plus airports for domestic travel. And you know what? Understanding how serious Apple takes privacy on the surface, I hear this and I'm like, I get what they're trying to do for convenience. My concern is going down this road is going to open up the doors for governments to be like, look, you're already doing it on your phone already. We're just going to institute it across the country as a governmental thing. It's only natural to do the next step. And I said, no, Apple, you were the chosen one. We got Chibi Reviews saying, Apple is now going forward with digital ID within the United States. The enrollment process involves scanning both the passport's data page and its embedded chip, followed by simple facial movement checks such as closing or turning one's head. Beyond airport checkpoints, Apple plans for digital ID to serve age verification purposes or confirm identity within certain apps and venues. Yikes. Here we have it happening. Starting from Apple, of all companies. They want to they see the direction it's going. And you know what? I hate to say it, but maybe Asmongold was right. Where he's like, it's inevitable. They see that it's happening. So now they want to be first in line to be like, oh, we're doing it. We already are doing it because they know that the governments are pushing so hard for it that they're going to get in front of it and just do it first. The rollout is limited for now, with the feature available only in the United States and restricted to domestic air travel. It appears they will be implementing this in other apps in the future. This news comes after the EU and UK have been forcing age verification on the internet. Reclaim the net. Apple just launched digital ID, turning your iPhone into a government-verified ID holder. For now, it's TSA only. But Apple says it'll soon verify age and identity across apps and venues. At the same time, EU, UK, Australia, and Canada are rolling out national ID systems, while the US states push ID checks for online access. This, and shout out to Primordial Troll for tagging me and Jay Viper. This is insanity. Fear Buck says, Apple just launched digital ID in the US, allowing users to add IDs like passports to Apple Wallet and use them at TSA checkpoints across 250 plus airports for domestic travel. Which again, on the surface, just being real, that sounds really fucking convenient. Like, great, okay. I'm concerned about the slippery slope where this is going and what they're doing next and how it's already going into, oh, it's also going to be used for age verification for apps. This is Reclaim the Net. Apple rolls out digital ID as states push new verification rules. By turning identification into a tap, Apple edges the iPhone closer to becoming a passport for everyday life. They're basically forcing this to be the new norm, where the wallet is inconsequential. Paper money doesn't matter. Cards don't even matter. It's just all digital on your phone. What happens when it runs out of batteries? Apple has begun testing a new feature that could eventually turn its wallet app into a central hub for personal identification. The company introduced digital ID today, describing it as a way for users to store and present identification directly from their iPhones or Apple Watches. This rollout is limited for now, with the feature available only in the United States and restricted to domestic travel. The Transportation Security Administration, TSA, will begin accepting digital IDs at over 250 airport checkpoints nationwide. If you guys travel often, you would understand how this could speed up the process of getting through TSA, theoretically. But in reality, it's still slow as hell. You still got to open your bags up, even though some lines you don't. Most of them you still do. It still takes forever. This is just one more thing of getting your data, making it digital, and having the ability of having it hacked or having someone gain access to it another way. This, and even, by the way, even if it doesn't get hacked, my bigger concern is this is going to be used as the gateway for governments, in this case, the United States government or state governments, to say, hey, look, Apple has paved the way for this to be generally accepted as just how this works in the digital age. We're just going to put a layer on top of that now, and we're going to start requiring it for our state to states. And we're also going to implement connections for KID or whatever ID verifications. And we're going to make sure that we're able to, I don't know, find out how old you are, get pictures of you or the kids, have analytics and data, and use that data against you. Because knowledge is power. And these governments know the more info they can get, the more stats they can get, the more they can control you. And I used to think that was crazy talk until you actually notice how they operate and what they want. It's like, oh, no, that's the reality. That's what it is. Just look at the UK and Keir Starmer right now. Like, what is going on over there? The enrollment process involves scanning both the passport's data page and its embedded chip, followed by simple facial movement checks such as closing or turning one's head. Beyond airport checkpoints, Apple plans for digital ID to serve age verification purposes or confirm identity within certain apps and venues. Apple's new digital ID feature is arriving just as governments around the world accelerate plans for national digital identity systems and online verification laws. And you guys who've been coming here for a while would know that I say this every time we talk about this. Why is it all happening at once? It's almost like this is a coordinated effort by the World Economic Forum to get the entire one world government on the same page to push everyone together into digital IDs so they can control everyone. I know, crazy, right? Almost like the plot to a movie in the 80s of what the future is going to be like. Yeah, that's actually what's happening right now. The company's rollout reflects a major move. Identity checks are increasingly becoming called for by governments as a prerequisite for access to both physical spaces and digital platforms. Across Europe, the EU has formalized its plan under the EIDAS 2.0 framework. This initiative mandates every member state to issue a European digital identity wallet that citizens can use across borders for government and private sector services. Weird how they're trying to do this for the tax-paying, upstanding citizens. Meanwhile, they open their borders, let illegal migrants roam the cities, rush everything, take all the jobs. No, it's not a problem for all them. But everyone else that's doing everything the right way, they want to be able to control you so that you can't say anything about that stuff. That they want to make sure that they have you under their thumb. The European Commission has already adopted the technical standards to make that system operational within the coming years. In the UK, Prime Minister Keir Starmer's government is pressing ahead with its own digital ID agenda. And that is on top of the, yes?
Do you know what those big white fans are?
A big white fan. You want to say hi to everyone?
Hi guys. Go buy the Smash JT. It's actually so good.
It is?
Yeah, I loved it. I like I said.
Oh, hold
I
on.
licked it dry.
Hold on. We gotta full screen this. Go on. You what? You licked it dry?
Yeah, it was so good. I love it.
It's delicious.
Is that it?
Oh, well, I have a little bit extra.
Can I have a sip?
You serious? No, you already had enough. It's got caffeine in it. I don't want you to be up all night. But you're a pretty good salesman.
Hey, Uwe, Grandpa, come here and buy some Smash JT.
So you're doing this great. This is just how we rehearsed it. We actually didn't rehearse anything. But you do like it.
Yeah.
Would you say you love it?
More than love it.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's why I was like, we gotta move forward with this because it's delicious.
Bye chat.
Okay.
Don't forget to get the awesome matcha.
I love you. Why are you so sweaty? Were you playing the VR?
No, I was wrapping Regina up in a burrito.
Okay, did you shower yet?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, you definitely did not
No.
shower. Okay, go shower because you're gross. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone's saying goodbye to you, by the way.
Bye, chat. Have a good rest of stream watching. Yeah.
Cool. All right, love you.
Oh, you too.
Anyways, where was I? I said that in the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Keir Starmer's government is pressing ahead with its own digital ID agenda. Yeah, On top of this, this is with the citizens signing in droves. I believe it was over 1 million people signing a petition that just got disregarded by the UK, saying, hey, we understand you don't want this. Anyways, we're going to give you what you don't want. The citizens elect the government to speak for them, and then the government tells the citizens to shut up. I don't know about you guys, but that tells me that there's probably a conflict there that's brewing. That's what I see. The new framework is expected to become mandatory for right to work checks and other identity verification processes before the end of the current parliament. You know what other thing that they never talk about, the real reason why they want this? They want to be able to track every single person to make sure that no one's working under the table. They want all the tax money from every single person because they look at this as, how can we get more taxes without raising the tax percent? Just find more people that are working under the table and get the work checks and ID verification for everything. It will never work, though. It's a fruitless endeavor. I'm not going to stop them, though. At the same time, the UK's Online Safety Act introduces strict age verification rules for online platforms, effectively tying access to some forms of content to verify identity credentials. Australia has already established a national legal structure for digital identification. The Digital ID Act, which took effect in late 2024, created by Australian government digital ID system to provide accredited verification services for both public and private entities. Guys, if I was elected and living in Australia to lead whatever the fuck Australia was doing, my first course of action would be to rip everything up and be like, nope, we're not doing any of this. And start over from scratch. And no, not at all. Nope. Next. Canada, meanwhile, is planting its own foundations. Provinces such as British Columbia already use digital service cards for online government access, and federal planning documents outline ambition to expand secure login systems nationwide. Apple's digital ID builds upon its existing ID and wallet program, which again, I should have seen this coming because the whole Apple wallet was very convenient and trusted. But now that it starts slippery sloping, adding more things to it, which I would almost argue, I would still trust Apple because they have fought against the government to not give backdoor access, to not release any private information to world governments that have tried. So to a point, I would actually trust Apple with it. But that's not even my concern, regardless of whether you trust them or not. It's the precedent that's being set right now by them that the governments in the States will look at and be like, oh, you're already doing it with your phone. You're already getting comfortable with it. Well, this is just similar to that, another layer to it with a lot less security, which already allows residents of Arizona, California, Colorado, Georgia, Hawaii, all these states to store driver's licenses or state IDs in wallet. At the same time, many states are implementing laws requiring ID-based age checks for websites and social media platforms. Texas, Florida, and Georgia introduced rules that force adult content providers to verify user identities. South Dakota and Wyoming have taken similar steps, expanding verification obligations to social platforms. This is the big concern with all this, is every time you do this, it gates off parts of the internet and makes the internet more strict, less open, less free. And it becomes a gated community of what the state and government is allowing you to see. And you just wait, give it 5 years, 10 years, and they're going to cut more things off. And then 20 years, cut more things off. And then maybe even say, hey, you know what? Actually, we can actually start charging for things and piecemeal these things. And then it doesn't even turn into the internet. It turns into a DLC for updates to be able to see things. Some companies have responded by blocking access in those states rather than collecting sensitive ID data. I believe that was Pornhub was one of those. But the direction of travel is unmistakable. The internet is being rebuilt around proof of identity. Yep. They do not want people to be anonymous online anymore. Ask yourself why. The societal trend towards mandatory digital ID presentation raises deeper concerns. Digital ID frameworks, whether introduced under the banner of convenience or safety, risk turning everyday interactions into checkpoints where one's right to move, communicate, or browse depends on credentials issued and monitored by central authorities. Banger. This is everything. This last paragraph and all this is everything of why you need to be concerned of this right here. a central data point of credentials issued and monitored by a central authority. Scary stuff, guys. And that is all starting of all places from Apple to doing this. And you just wait, because we already know what the next step is. I already know I'm going to be making the video, whether it's next week, next month, or next year. I'm going to be making a video talking about how the state governments, they're having a General Assembly, and they're talking about in Congress. Well, Apple paved the way for digital identification that has been proven valuable at airports. And we would like to build a framework on top of this to be able to track our citizens to make sure for their safety, of course, and the children and XYZ. Just wait, because that's happening. And a direct violation of the United States Constitution. But hey, that doesn't seem to get in the way of certain people in the political spectrum these days. We'll see what happens. But for now, I'll leave that there.